Where do we start? What's the first step we take in our pursuit of changing the world? Some of us like to make memes. Some of us organize protests. Some of us raise our children in a more enlightened fashion. Some of us throw bricks through windows. Some of us have conversations. Some of us educate ourselves to try to elevate our living standards so we can better ourselves and hopefully through that better the world. Essentially though, what it comes down to is each of us are in pursuit of methods of bettering our world, bettering those closest to us, and hopefully through that changing the world itself. I'm here to say that social media activism is not enough. Now, to give credit where credit's due, social media has done amazing things in our world. The fact that we are here communicating and having this conversation and sharing ideas and processing knowledge and talking back and forth is only allowed due to what we call social media. For me in my work, I would not have ever been able to reach all the people I reach now and have reached over the years through touring, through videos, through essays, through articles, and through ranting on Facebook without those very tools, social media. However, it's time for us to recognize the limits of those tools. It's time for us to be able to honestly and compassionately assess the actions that we take in our world and decide whether or not they are achieving the goals that we hope for. This is why it's important to constantly take an assessment of the actions you take. In order to ask yourself, are these actions I'm taking, are they producing the results that I seek? And if not, being able to honestly ask yourself, what else can I do? What else can I try? Is there another route I can take? Is there another strategy that I should consider? Find others who have similar problems, come together as a community, and ask yourselves, what can we do about this problem or that problem? When the strategies that once worked no longer produce those same results, or the results are coming up short and you're coming up empty-handed, it is absolutely necessary to stop and pause and reflect and to seek new alternatives. It doesn't mean you have to chalk yourself up as a failure and say, well, the path I've been on has been all for naught and I will never achieve my desired goals. No. The idea is to assess the actions that you have taken and to measure them and to see if you continue on that path, will you ever achieve the goals that you claim you want? So if your goal is to find a group of enlightened individuals to start an intentional community, to grow your own food, to raise children in a more enlightened fashion, to do all these things with freedom in mind, with sustainability in mind, with compassion and respect for all life in mind, and you find yourself surrounded by individuals that do not match that description, well, then it might be wise to change your friend group and your social circles. And in the same fashion, it's important to say, are my actions going to produce the results that I want? Are my social media circles, are my social media habits going to produce that group of people I'm seeking, that enlightened lifestyle that I'm seeking? Are my social media habits allowing me to cultivate the inner self that I desire? And if you're answering no to these questions, if you're like many people, realizing that, wow, you spend a lot of time on social media, scrolling endlessly, looking at other people's lives, and sometimes feeling positive about that, feeling thankful that other people are living the lives that they are and that you get to peer in and be witness to that. But if in the end you realize that for the most part, let's be honest, you're wasting your time on social media. You're wasting your time watching other people live their lives, and that's not how you ever will achieve your goals. All the great people that you look up to, the musicians, the actors, the activists, the authors, the artists, the beautiful free human beings, they are not getting to where they are. They are not achieving the goals that they desire by watching you on social media, by scrolling on social media. So I want to pose the question to you guys, what is it that we can do beyond simply following each other on social media? I hesitate sometimes to ask for follows, likes, shares, and subscribes and all those wonderful things. Obviously, my goals are to spread information far and wide and to get people to think and hopefully empower them and uplift them and get them to see that they are not alone in the world. I do that because I recognize that the more people who feel empowered in themselves, the less likely they are to fall prey to the traps of the state and other conniving, manipulative individuals in our world. The more empowered you are, the more it inspires other people around you, and it ripples out on and on and on. And I've seen this in my own life. I've been able to lift myself up from the bottom and pull myself up higher to somewhere that feels more comfortable and feels closer to what I want my life to be like. And I've seen that inspire other people. I've had people share their stories with me and say, I watched what you did, or I watched this video, or listened to this article, or just hear your story of change, and it's inspired me to take on all the challenges that I have. And I only do the things I do because of my inspiration from other people. So you see where I'm going with this. How do we take the best aspects of social media, the uplifting, empowering aspects, and eliminate all those aspects that do not serve us? Eliminate the envy, the jealousy, the wastefulness, and actually achieve the results we want. I won't lie, I'm less than optimistic about the future of this country, the United States, and honestly about the entirety of the world. I know that we cannot save the world. I used to believe that that was my goal and that was my purpose, was to save the world. I now understand and know better that we have to save ourselves and help ourselves, especially before we can help anyone else. But ultimately, I think that is what the goal is to empower and to help ourselves. We take a little bit of juice and inspiration from each other. We use that as fuel to empower ourselves and lift each other up. And hopefully through all of that, all of our boats rise together. We each become individually powered, but we also empower the entire collective of humanity and consciousness. But I know that the evolution, it is in the conversations. The revolution, the evolution is in the conversations. It's in our day-to-day actions. And some of that may include social media. You might see memes, you might see inspirational posts by other individuals or videos that lift up your day and help you get through another moment and push on. But still, is that enough? Is that going to change the world? Is that going to stop wars? Is that going to stop suffering? Is that going to end the lies of the corporate media and the people in government and politics and their corporate buddies? Are feel-good memes or even funny memes that make fun of the people in power, make fun of the, quote, other side, your leftists or your right-wingers, are those actually changing the world? I don't believe so. I know there are many people out there who believe in the power of memes, who believe in the power of social media, and there's this meme itself going around, this idea that, well, memes are changing the world and social media, we don't have to do anything, just step back because we've already won. And it's an uplifting message to embrace. I see it. I don't want to come rain on anybody's parade, but I also think it's a bunch of bullshit. I also think it's just, pat yourself on the back, take this happy pill, make yourself feel good type of stuff. I want to evolve past that. I want to actually get to a place where we can live in line with our values. And I don't see enough people taking the situation seriously. I see too many people who are content to get a certain amount of information, fill their head with the knowledge that they think is important, join all the right social media groups and follow all the right pages and wear all the right clothes or watch all the right channels, and then make fun of everybody who doesn't get it. The sheeple, the, whatever you want to call them. The unenlightened, the others, right? Those aren't us. We're the ones who get it. Our team, our club, we understand what's going on. And I see social media contributing to this echo chamber, this division, this separation, as well as contributing to what many people call slacktivism. This idea that all you have to do is change your Facebook profile or post an Instagram meme or share a story, and that will change the world. Views aren't enough. Having 1 million views on a video is no longer enough, if it ever was enough. That might look nice and maybe it fills your bank account for some people, or it feels good. I know that when I get views, it feels good. My work is paid off. People are watching this. People are talking about it. People are sharing this. Something I said hit them in the heart and engaged with them, and they felt it worthy enough to share. But what happens after that? Do you change anything in your life? Do you have a conversation with friends? I know some of you do, and some of you have shared that with me, and I'm thankful for that. But is that what's taking place in most people's lives? Or is it simply just one more meme on the way to going about your daily habits? Habits which, by the way, might actually be contributing to the problems in the world. This is why it's important to think holistically. Because one moment you might share a really woke, awake, aware meme on social media about what's wrong with the world and how we need to embrace change and fix it. And then the next moment you're using plastic and contributing to the destruction of the future world that the 7 generations will have to deal with. Or you're destroying the environment around you. Or you're using violent, aggressive, just horrible, disgusting language in your relationships to your wife, your spouse, your husband, your children, yourself. So there's a contradiction taking place. Posting memes is not enough. Having a social media presence isn't enough. Making videos is not enough. Sharing stories is not enough online. There has to be another method. We have to find another way to reach people and to engage with people. And at the same time, it's not simply that I'm arguing that these tools are limited. I'm definitely arguing that. But I want to refer you to the detrimental health effects of these social media tools. I want you to understand that when you really dig into this, there's plenty of evidence showing that these social media tools are making people envious, they're making them depressed, they're causing mood crises, they're causing envy and just dissatisfaction in one's own life. And this is found in study after study that looks at Facebook, Instagram, and a variety of social media. Obviously, it depends on how you use these tools, but these studies have found over and over again these same results. And then let's add to the fact that these tools are censoring independent voices, that they are not blindly sitting by and allowing us to use these tools to our greatest advantage and use them to spread knowledge and to wake people up and to empower individuals. No, they are using these tools to censor, to limit our reach. So they get everybody to embrace social media as a great way to connect, to keep in touch with your friends and family. And then once we use the tools effectively, once we build up movements that lead to real world movements, that lead to real world protests and real world action, and we wake up and unleash and help break free minds from this matrix, then they show their true purpose. Their purpose is to limit, to block, to divide, to distract. And that is what they are there for. The companies behind social media do not care about your goals. They do not have the same goals as you. You're just another number, just another account to sell data from. And it's important to think about that. Why then, if these companies, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, if they do not align with our values, if they've shown themselves willing to purge and block independent thinkers and independent media, if they've shown themselves connected to the military-industrial complex and the same companies and the same individuals who launch wars around the world, if they've shown themselves to lead to depression, envy, to decrease our mood, and to make some people feel downright miserable, then why are we still using these tools? Why are we still embracing them as if they're necessary for our everyday life, as if we cannot survive without them, when in fact it's the reverse. These tools cannot survive without us. And it's not only that you're giving them your physical time and your data. There's a spiritual component to this as well. The constant feeding off of our energy that we give to these machines, that we spend scrolling, looking, searching. How many hours have you wasted? How many days? How many weeks? You found information, you found valuable friends, you've met other like-minded people, perhaps that in your communities, whether big or small, you cannot connect with people. So you use social media as a way to find that what you've been looking for, to recognize, yes, I'm not alone, there are others. But at what point do we stop and say, these tools have reached their limits? Yes, some people out there, friends of mine, they get purged from social media and they just start all over again. They create a new account. They say, I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to let them take this public square away from us. We can't let them win. We have to keep going. We must not relent. We have to keep pushing. And I empathize and I understand that state of mind. But I also worry and fear that the more energy and attention we give to these tools, which have shown they do not care for our values and our principles and do not have the same goals, that we're also taking away time that we could be spending elsewhere, building in other capacities, in other methods, with other strategies. And I've laid out all of my strategies in plenty of books and essays and videos and articles and personal conversations. At this point, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. I'm pessimistic. I say realistic, some may say pessimistic, some may say cynical. But I don't think that the answers that we're looking for lie in social media. And it may be very difficult to imagine that. But think about this. These tools have only been around for about a decade. Just over a decade have these tools been in existence and in the capacity that we know them as now, where everybody is using some form of social media, whether it's your grandmother or your 7-year-old sibling. Everybody has some presence on some social media. But is that what we should settle for? Is that going to achieve our goals? Because we've talked about ignorance and we've talked about apathy. Some of you say you're no longer ignorant. You're no longer apathetic. That's why you've come to these channels and you've come to these conclusions that you have. That's why you've studied the information that you care about. And you're raising your kids differently. You're raising yourself differently. You're raising your vibration. You're educating yourself, watching documentaries, reading books, meditating, praying, cultivating inner healing, working on your own trauma. You're doing the good things. But when and where do we start changing the world? Because when I look around, I only see the world degrading. I only see the world breaking down further. And some would argue this is what's necessary in order for humankind to come to that point in time in our history where we will rise to the occasion. Others will say, well, there's nothing we can do. I mean, you might as well party and enjoy your life. Get whatever good you can. Go find your little slice of paradise and happiness, and that's all you should worry about. Some days I lean further towards that because I don't see much hope. I don't feel very optimistic, and I see only people who want to embrace more of the same. Keep using social media, keep using these tools, act as if they are serving our purposes and serving our goals, when we know damn well they're not. So what can we do? I'm asking you, my friends. I know what I'm doing in my life and the path that I'm choosing. I'm going to cultivate that little piece of happiness, that little piece of paradise. I'm going to find some land. I'm going to find a family. I'm going to find a few nice, close people that I can care about and be honest and open and be my true self with, and give them a space where they can be open and honest and be their true self. Beyond that, I don't know what will stop the wars. I don't know what will stop the lies. I don't know what will stop the violence. I think removing your money from the tax farm is a vital part of that. But even then, some of you hesitate to go down that road, and that's understandable. You have children, you have things you could lose, right, by challenging this machine. But you have to ask yourself, are you trying to just get through life knowing the things you know and dying knowing that, well, I know what's going on, I know that we've been lied to, I didn't really do much about it, but at least I know. And if that's enough for you, then continue on the path you're on and change nothing. If knowing is enough, if knowing is more than enough, because remember, some say knowing is half the battle. Well, what's the other half? Action, doing something about it. So ask yourself, is knowing enough? Is knowing that the world is not what we were told, knowing that we've been lied to about so many things in this world, and that there are sick, twisted, traumatized, hurt individuals who are a part of the human species that are controlling and manipulating many, many people. Is knowing that enough for you? Or is doing something about it something that you care about as well? I want to do. I don't want to just know. I want to act, not just see and watch. And I don't just want to speak either. I want to act. And I'm calling out to you, my brothers and sisters, who want to act. Find me. Connect to me. Let's connect. Let's figure this out. We can do it. And if we don't, then your children, their children, their children, their children, their children, and their children, all the way from the 7th generation and beyond, will suffer. They will know suffering like none of us have ever known. The world will regress, it will go backwards, tyrants will take over, and the planet will be destroyed. Maybe that's what we need in our species, in the grand scheme of things. We need a restart, a reset button. But I'd like to think that some of us will step up to the plate and take action and lead the way. I'd like to think that we all lead the way, individually and collectively. However, reality shows me a different picture. So I sit here, resigned to my lack of optimism and my realism, hoping and praying day by day that more people choose to take action. And I hope that you're one of them. Thank you guys for listening. Until next time, remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, you are free, and it's time to act, my brothers and sisters.